What if I told you that history's most successful money launderer wasn't a cartel boss, wasn't a Wall Street executive, but a car dealer from Miami who stole $120 million and vanished into thin air? You've been to car dealerships. You know that salesman who remembers your name, asks about your family, makes you feel like you're getting a deal. Trust comes easy when someone speaks your language, understands your dreams. In Miami, where Cuban coffee meets Colombian ambition and everyone's chasing their version of success, one man turned that trust into a weapon. March 15, 2023. Security cameras at Miami International Airport capture a well-dressed businessman boarding TAP Air Portugal Flight 223 to Lisbon. Portuguese passport reads Ricardo Delgado, tech entrepreneur. Clean shave, confident stride, expensive watch catching terminal lighting. Just another successful American expanding overseas operations. 6 hours later, federal agents storm Premium Auto Solutions on Northwest 7th Street. Sledgehammers against reinforced doors. Smoke still rising from destroyed servers. Empty safes. Blank walls where family photos once hung. 4 years of meticulous investigation reduced to ash and silence. Numbers that still make FBI financial crime specialists lose sleep. $120 million stolen in 72 hours. Over $400 million laundered during a 4-year operation. One man outsmarting an entire federal task force while a Mexican cartel places a $10 million bounty on his head. But here's what keeps investigators awake at night. This wasn't random violence or Hollywood-style heists. This was your neighbor, your friend, someone who sponsored little league teams and dated prosecutors' assistants. Someone who understood that perfect crimes happen in plain sight, hidden behind handshakes and small talk. Right now, somewhere in Portugal, Brazil, or Thailand, a man who was born Joaquín Navarro might be sipping coffee at a sidewalk cafe, reading headlines about his own manhunt. Federal task forces burn through budgets chasing shadows while cartel assassins follow false leads across 3 continents. Intelligence without morality becomes destruction. Pursuit of more can cost everything that matters. This story isn't just about money. It's about how quickly trust becomes betrayal, how easily legitimate businesses become criminal enterprises, and how far someone will go when they realize there's no way back. And if you're watching this thinking, this could never happen near me, you're exactly why people like Joaquín thrive. Good people staying naive is what makes billion-dollar crimes possible. Subscribe, because understanding how these operations work might be your best defense against becoming their next victim. Every handshake hides potential deception. Every success story might conceal calculated destruction. Today, we're going behind closed doors of Premium Auto Solutions to discover how a Colombian immigrant became America's most wanted financial criminal, and why federal agents still can't find him. Miami's industrial corridor stretches like a concrete canyon between 2 worlds, where rusted warehouses lean against gleaming office towers, where cargo containers stack high enough to block Caribbean sunlight. Here, amid diesel fumes and salt air, dreams either crystallize or shatter against reality's unforgiving surface. Premium Auto Solutions occupied a corner lot at Northwest 7th and 42nd Avenue. Strategic positioning wasn't accidental. 3 miles from Miami International Airport's private terminals, for miles from Port of Miami's shipping lanes. Location meant everything in import-export businesses, though few customers understood why their luxury car dealer needed such convenient access to international transit points. Showroom windows displayed automotive perfection: pearl-white Lamborghini Huracan, midnight black Ferrari 488, custom Range Rover with bulletproof glass. Vehicles that commanded respect, demanded attention, suggested their owners possessed both wealth and wisdom. Chrome surfaces reflected overhead lighting in patterns that hypnotized visitors, made them forget practical concerns about monthly payments or insurance costs. 12-year-old Joaquín Navarro first saw Miami from an American Airlines window seat, forehead pressed against cool plastic as his mother pointed toward distant skyscrapers rising from Biscayne Bay. Medellin's mountains had shaped his childhood, but Miami's horizontal sprawl promised something different: space to reinvent, room to become someone new. English came slowly at first, playground taunts faster. But watching classmates, teachers, neighbors taught him something valuable. People revealed themselves through micro-expressions, voice inflections, body language. Fear manifested as crossed arms. Desire showed through dilated pupils. Greed leaked through eager smiles and quick handshakes. By 16, Joaquín could read anyone within minutes of conversation. College counselors suggested psychology or law enforcement. Instead, automotive sales called a profession where reading people translated directly into commission checks. Legitimate success arrived gradually. Used car lots gave way to luxury dealerships. Entry-level positions evolved into management roles. By 35, Joaquín owned premium auto solutions outright, debt-free, profitable. Regular customers included Miami Heat players, real estate developers, entertainment industry executives. Reputation built on honest transactions, competitive pricing, exceptional service. But customers saw carefully curated surfaces. Behind closed doors, financial records displayed mathematical perfection that impressed even forensic accountants. Every receipt numbered sequentially. Every transaction documented precisely. Tax filings submitted early, payments made promptly. Books so clean they practically gleamed. Too clean, federal investigators would later determine. Real businesses generate messiness, disputed charges, late payments, inventory discrepancies. Premium auto solutions showed none of these natural imperfections, suggesting either supernatural efficiency or deliberate manipulation. Clientele preferences revealed telling patterns. Armored Mercedes sedans attracted diplomatic personnel and cartel money launderers equally. Bulletproof glass appealed to legitimate security concerns and illegitimate wealth protection. High-end vehicles with modified interiors, hidden compartments, reinforced panels, encrypted communication systems, served very specific customer requirements. Bugatti Chiron price tags justified enormous cash transactions. $3.2 million for handcrafted automotive art meant customers bringing briefcases filled with hundreds raised no immediate suspicions. Luxury markets operated differently than mainstream retail. Cash purchases seemed normal, even expected. Skills developed through honest work became tools for dishonest purposes. Reading people allowed manipulation instead of service. Understanding financial systems enabled exploitation rather than compliance. Legitimate business knowledge transformed into criminal methodology. Easy money whispered seductive promises. Why struggle for $1,000 commissions when million-dollar opportunities beckoned? Why build slowly when shortcuts offered immediate gratification? Why follow rules designed by others when intelligence suggested better alternatives? Premium auto solutions became perfect camouflage for operations requiring international legitimacy, financial sophistication, and access to high-value assets. What appeared as American Dream's success story actually served as foundation for something far more complex and dangerous. Tuesday morning, October 2018. Esperanza Torrealba stepped through Premium Auto Solutions glass doors wearing cream-colored Chanel and confidence that commanded immediate attention. Italian leather handbag, Colombian emerald earrings, Swiss timepiece catching showroom lighting. Every detail calculated to project wealth, sophistication, legitimacy. Agricultural investors from Venezuela, her introduction carried slight accent, educated pronunciation. We need armored vehicles for ranch security. Manicured fingernails traced Range Rover specifications while dark eyes assessed Joaquín's reactions. Professional distance maintained, business cards exchanged, preliminary discussions about fleet requirements. 20 minutes later, Esperanza opened her handbag. Cash emerged in vacuum-sealed bundles. $100 bills, consecutive serial numbers, bank-fresh crispness. Stack after stack arranged across mahogany conference table until $2.8 million covered polished surface like green carpet. Silence filled air while fluorescent bulbs hummed overhead and Miami traffic rumbled past tinted windows. Down payment, Esperanza explained calmly. We prefer cash transactions. Joaquín's hands remained steady while his mind raced. Legitimate customers occasionally paid cash, but not millions. Not in sealed bundles. Not with such casual confidence about federal reporting requirements. We'll need additional services, Esperanza continued. Regular fleet maintenance, replacement vehicles, specialized modifications. Long-term partnership with reliable suppliers. Partnership. Not customer relationship. Partnership implied mutual dependency, shared risks, ongoing obligations. Hermanos del Oro operated differently than stereotypical cartel organizations. No violence-first mentality, no territorial street wars, No flashy displays attracting law enforcement attention. Instead, sophisticated financial engineering transformed dirty money into legitimate assets across multiple industries. Precious metals smuggling generated monthly revenues exceeding $40 million. Venezuelan gold mines, Colombian emerald operations, Peruvian silver extraction, all funneled through shell companies toward international markets. Cryptocurrency manipulation added another revenue stream. Ransomware operations targeting corporate networks produced digital currencies requiring conversion to traditional banking systems. Traditional banking had become impossible. Federal agencies monitored large transactions. International compliance programs flagged suspicious patterns. Anti-money laundering protocols detected unusual activity within hours. Even corrupt bank officials faced too much scrutiny to provide reliable services. Hermanos del Oro needed someone with legitimate business credentials, international connections, financial sophistication. Someone who understood complex transactions, maintained clean records, attracted no unwanted attention. Someone positioned to move large amounts of money without triggering automated detection systems. Within 3 months, Esperanza's agricultural investments became regular occurrences. Monthly vehicle purchases escalating from $2 million to $5 million to $8 million. Each transaction documented properly, taxes paid promptly, paperwork filed correctly. Premium auto solutions appeared increasingly successful while federal agents remained unaware of underlying activities. Sophistication levels required constant elevation. Simple cash-for-cars exchanges evolved into multi-jurisdictional financial instruments. Shell companies purchased vehicles from other shell companies at inflated prices. International wire transfers moved money between accounts in Panama, Gibraltar, Cayman Islands. Documentation created paper trails that justified enormous cash deposits while obscuring actual money sources. Joaquín realized gradually what partnership truly meant. Esperanza's polite requests became firm expectations. Optional services became mandatory requirements. Helpful suggestions became implicit threats wrapped in diplomatic language. Operational security requires complete confidentiality, Esperanza mentioned during routine meetings. Partners who understand discretion enjoy long, profitable relationships. Partners who don't. Sentences left unfinished carried more weight than explicit warnings. Criminal partnerships seduce through incremental progression. First transaction feels like exceptional opportunity. Second seems logical extension. By 10th, pattern becomes addiction, easy money, minimal effort, growing bank balances. Conscience adapts to justify increasingly questionable decisions. Small compromises create large catastrophes. Accepting suspicious cash leads to laundering operations. Falsifying documents enables fraud. Maintaining criminal partnerships requires deeper criminal involvement. Each step deeper makes retreat more difficult, more dangerous. And if you're still watching without subscribing, ask yourself, why are you okay letting criminals outthink you? At least drop a comment and explain why you'd rather watch silently than be part of understanding how these operations work. Financial origami, that's what investigators called Joaquín's methodology. Paper folded so many times, creased in so many directions, that original shape became unrecognizable. Money entered as dirty cash and emerged as legitimate business revenue through transformations that challenged even forensic accountants' understanding. Shell companies formed across 3 jurisdictions like interconnected puzzle pieces. Gibraltar Holdings purchased vehicles from Panama Imports, which bought inventory from Cayman Automotive Solutions. Each company maintained separate banking relationships, distinct business licenses, different registered addresses. On paper, 3 legitimate enterprises conducting international trade. In reality, one man controlling multiple identities. Phantom documentation created vehicles that existed only in computer databases. Ferrari 488 GTB, VIN number fabricated, purchase price $340,000, sold to Panama Imports for $440,000. Same vehicle resold to Gibraltar Holdings for $540,000. Then exported to Cayman Automotive for $640,000. 4 transactions, 1 imaginary car, legitimate paper trail justifying $640,000 in clean revenue. Real vehicles sold multiple times through similar processes. Single Lamborghini Aventador purchased for $500,000 generated 5 separate sales contracts to 5 different shell companies. Each sale increased vehicle value by 20%, creating artificial appreciation that justified enormous cash deposits. Final sale price reached $1.2 million for car originally worth half that amount. Gold Standard Protocol represented Joaquín's masterpiece innovation. Traditional money laundering moved dirty cash through clean businesses. Gold Standard added extra layer. Dirty cash became clean precious metals, which became legitimate currency through secondary transactions. Colombian mining officials, bribed with luxury vehicles and cash payments, provided authentic gold export certificates. Venezuelan customs agents, similarly compensated, approved bullion shipments to Panamanian refineries. Panamanian refinery owners, bought through shell company investments, processed gold into internationally marketable bars. Clean gold sold to Gibraltar Holdings at artificially inflated prices. Gibraltar Holdings sold same gold to Cayman Automotive at further inflated prices. Cayman Automotive sold gold to legitimate precious metals dealers at market rates. Final transaction generated wire transfers to Premium Auto Solutions accounts. Completely legal, fully documented, impossible to trace back to original Cartel cash. Step 1. Cartel delivers $10 million cash to Premium Auto Solutions for vehicle purchases. Step 2. Premium Auto Solutions transfers cash to Colombian mining operation for gold bullion purchase. Step 3. Gold shipped to Panamanian refinery with legitimate export documentation. Step 4. Refined gold sold to shell company network at 200% markup. Step 5. Shell companies resell gold to legitimate dealers at market price. Step 6. Legitimate dealers wire payment to Premium Auto Solutions for consulting services. Step 7. $10 million cartel cash becomes $8.5 million legitimate business revenue. Paper trails led investigators through labyrinthine documentation spanning 3 countries, 6 banks, 12 companies, and dozens of transactions. Following money meant understanding international banking regulations, precious metals markets, automotive import-export requirements, and shell company structures across multiple jurisdictions. Agent Patricia Hawkins discovered Premium Auto Solutions during routine financial crimes analysis. 15 years investigating money laundering operations, master's degree in forensic accounting, specialized training in international financial crimes. Experience taught her to recognize patterns others missed. Q1 2020 report showed Premium Auto Solutions recording $67 million in cash transactions. Dealership occupied 8,000 square feet, employed 12 people, specialized in luxury vehicles. Comparable businesses averaged $15 to $20 million annual revenue. $67 million in single quarter suggested either explosive growth or fraudulent activity. Hawkins requested Premium Auto Solutions financial records. Documents arrived promptly, professionally organized, mathematically perfect. Every receipt numbered sequentially. Every transaction documented precisely. Every tax filing submitted early with payments made promptly. Too perfect. Real businesses generated inconsistencies, disputed charges, late payments, inventory discrepancies, accounting errors. Premium Auto Solutions showed none of these natural imperfections. Either supernatural efficiency or deliberate manipulation. Investigation teams discovered vehicles sold to companies that didn't exist at addresses that didn't exist to customers who didn't exist. Wire transfers originated from banks in countries where Premium Auto Solutions claimed no business relationships. Cash deposits totaling millions arrived without corresponding sales documentation. But every document appeared legitimate when examined individually. Each transaction followed proper procedures. All tax obligations met completely. Every I dotted, every T crossed. Joaquín had created operation that appeared completely legal while being completely fraudulent. Hawkins spent 18 months chasing leads that evaporated upon close examination. Witnesses who knew nothing. Documents that proved nothing. Bank records that showed everything and revealed nothing. Each breakthrough led to dead ends. Each answer generated 10 new questions. Intelligence is a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends entirely on character of person wielding it. Joaquín possessed brilliance to solve complex problems, but chose destruction rather than creation. Same analytical skills that could have built legitimate business empire instead constructed criminal enterprise that harmed countless victims. Tools remain neutral until applied. Intelligence can cure diseases or create weapons. Financial knowledge can build wealth or steal it. International connections can facilitate trade or enable crime. Character determines whether abilities serve good or evil purposes. Document destruction followed federal retention guidelines precisely. Business records required 7-year storage under IRS regulations. Joaquín maintained files for exactly 7 years and 1 day before professional shredding services destroyed everything. Perfectly legal. Completely suspicious. Impossible to prosecute. When investigators requested specific documents, Joaquín's attorneys responded within hours. Unfortunately, those records exceeded mandatory retention periods and were disposed of according to standard business practices last Tuesday. Federal agents arrived to empty filing cabinets and clean storage rooms. Undercover operations failed repeatedly because Joaquín read people like emotional radar. Agent Rodriguez posed as wealthy contractor seeking armored vehicles. Slight tremor in voice when discussing cash payments. Eyes darting toward showroom cameras. Questions too focused on financial procedures rather than vehicle specifications. Sorry, inventory shortages, Joaquín explained politely. Agent Rodriguez left empty-handed. Agent Thompson tried different approach. Tech entrepreneur interested in luxury fleet. Better performance, natural confidence, appropriate knowledge about automotive features. But fingernails too clean for someone claiming hands-on business involvement. Shoes too practical for alleged vanity purchases. Watch impressive but wrong brand for stated personality type. Another inventory shortage. Network of unwitting informants provided early warning systems without realizing their roles. Miami's law enforcement community gathered regularly at charity events, professional conferences, social gatherings. Joaquín attended everything, sponsored generously, built genuine friendships with people who talked shop over drinks. Big investigation coming down from Washington, Detective Morrison mentioned during Police Athletic League fundraiser. Financial Crimes Task Force, federal resources, serious business. Casual conversation between friends. Morrison had no idea his dinner companion was investigation target. Romantic relationship with paralegal Isabella Reyes provided inside access to prosecutor discussions. Not planned seduction. Genuine attraction developed during art gallery opening. Isabella worked for federal prosecutor's office, specialized in financial crimes documentation. Dinner conversations included work frustrations, case developments, office gossip. Hawkins is obsessed with some car dealer, Isabella mentioned over wine. Spending months on surveillance, getting nowhere. Supervisors getting impatient. Pillow talk that saved Joaquín's operation multiple times. Hiring DEA administrator's nephew Carlos seemed like community service gesture. Recent college graduate, criminal justice major, needed legitimate employment for federal background check. Carlos brought family connections, inside knowledge, unintentional intelligence gathering. Uncle Frank says Miami's getting extra federal attention, Carlos mentioned during lunch break. Something about international money flows, enhanced surveillance protocols. Nephew shared information freely, proud of family connections, unaware of implications. Psychological manipulation operated through genuine relationships rather than obvious corruption. Joaquín never offered bribes, never requested classified information directly, never pressured anyone for favors. Instead, friendship and trust created natural information sharing that people rationalized as harmless. Charity sponsorships bought legitimate goodwill. Police softball team, Firefighter Benevolent Fund, Federal Agents Children's Scholarship Program. 10,000 here, 15,000 there, meaningful contributions that created grateful recipients throughout law enforcement community. Trust spreads like infection. Isabella trusted Joaquín completely, shared professional concerns freely. Carlos admired his boss, discussed family connections openly. Detective Morrison considered Joaquín reliable friend, forgot discretion during social events. Each person compromised without realizing corruption. Moral decay metastasized beyond original criminal. Isabella unknowingly became intelligence asset. Carlos inadvertently aided money laundering operation. Morrison accidentally provided operational security. Good people transformed into unwitting accomplices through friendship and manipulation. 2022 brought escalating pressure from multiple directions. Federal investigation intensified despite continuous obstacles. Agent Hawkins received additional resources, expanded surveillance capabilities, interagency cooperation. Traditional counterintelligence measures becoming insufficient against sustained federal attention. Cartel communications grew increasingly tense. Operational security requires adjustment, Esperanza mentioned during routine meeting. Code language for partnership reassessment. High-profile operations attract unwanted attention. Sometimes changes become necessary for everyone's protection. Translation: Joaquín knew too much, represented growing liability, might become expendable asset requiring permanent disposal. Federal net tightening simultaneously with cartel patience diminishing created impossible situation. Cooperation with investigators meant certain death from cartel retaliation. Continued partnership meant eventual federal prosecution. No safe options remained except desperate alternatives. Crimes like this don't just happen, they spread. Corruption infects good people through friendship, trust, manipulation. If you believe this kind of rot should be exposed, don't sit back. Subscribe. Or at least tell us in comments why you'd rather let silence win. January 2023. Esperanza Torrealba requested meeting at Premium Auto Solutions after hours. Unusual timing, heightened security measures, encrypted communication protocols. Something significant required discussion beyond routine partnership maintenance. Largest transaction in our relationship, Esperanza announced without preliminary conversation. $120 million. Cryptocurrency proceeds from international ransomware operations. 6-month timeline for complete laundering through gold protocol to Swiss and Singaporean accounts. Numbers that staggered even Joaquín's experienced perspective. Previous transactions peaked at 15 million monthly. 120 million represented 8 months of normal operations compressed into single massive transfer. Risk levels exponentially higher, federal detection probability significantly increased. Enhanced operational security required, Esperanza continued. Zero margin for error, complete confidentiality, absolute success mandatory. Unspoken implications clear, failure meant permanent consequences for everyone involved. Ransomware proceeds created additional complications. Cryptocurrency transactions attracted enhanced federal scrutiny. International law enforcement cooperation intensified around digital crime proceeds. Traditional money laundering protocols required substantial modification for crypto to physical asset conversion. 6-month timeline demanded systematic approach. Months 1-2. Convert cryptocurrency to multiple traditional currencies through exchange networks. Months 3-4. Purchase gold bullion through established mining connections across 3 countries. Months 5-6. Process gold through shell company network, generating clean wire transfers to Swiss and Singaporean banking systems. But Joaquín realized this transaction would be his last. Federal investigation pressure mounting weekly. Agent Hawkins receiving additional resources, expanded surveillance capabilities, interagency support. 6 months provided too much exposure time for operation of this magnitude. Cartel signals suggested partnership approaching natural conclusion. Enhanced operational security meant eliminating witnesses, loose ends, potential liabilities. Once transaction completed successfully, Joaquín's knowledge made him existential threat requiring permanent disposal. Operation Exodus planning began immediately. Years of contingency preparation activated within hours of Esperanza's departure. False identity documents retrieved from safety deposit boxes. Cryptocurrency accounts established under Ricardo Delgado identity activated. Swiss and Luxembourg banking relationships cultivated through tech entrepreneur persona confirmed ready. 72-hour execution window commenced Friday, March 10, 2023. Hour 1. Access all cartel cryptocurrency wallets using administrative privileges Esperanza had granted for transaction facilitation. Hour 6. Transfer complete $120 million to accounts Joaquín controlled exclusively under Ricardo Delgado identity. Hour 12. Begin systematic liquidation of Premium Auto Solutions assets, real estate, vehicle inventory, banking relationships. Hour 18. Physical destruction of computer servers, documentation, communication equipment. Hour 24. Activate plastic surgery modifications completed 2 years earlier, facial structure adjustments, dental work, fingerprint alterations. Hour 36. Final wire transfers moving liquidated assets to European accounts under false identity. Hour 48. Destroy remaining evidence, abandon Miami residence, activate Portuguese passport. Hour 60. Board TAP Air Portugal Flight 223 to Lisbon under Ricardo Delgado identity. Hour 72. Federal agents raid empty Premium Auto Solutions offices while Joaquín establishes European residency. Moment of no return arrived during cryptocurrency transfer initiation. Mouse cursor hovering over confirmation button. $120 million belonging to organization that killed people for significantly smaller infractions. Decision between certain death through partnership continuation versus possible survival through ultimate betrayal. Calculated risk assessment suggested escape probability at 60%. Cartel retaliation probability at 90% if partnership continued. Federal prosecution probability approaching 100% within 6 months. Mathematics favored desperate action over passive acceptance. Click. Funds transferred. Bridges burned. Allies betrayed. Future irrevocably altered. Consequences manifested within hours. Esperanza discovered theft through automated monitoring systems. Cartel leadership convened emergency sessions. $10 million bounty announced through international criminal networks. Professional assassins activated across multiple continents. FBI raid produced empty offices, destroyed servers, abandoned operations. Agent Hawkins surveyed aftermath. 4 years of investigation reduced to ash and silence. International manhunt classification upgraded to national security priority. Interpol alerts issued to 194 member countries. This is moment when intelligence without integrity reaches inevitable conclusion. When you've burned every bridge, betrayed every ally, what you're left with isn't freedom, it's isolation. Joaquín gained $120 million but lost identity, relationships, homeland, peace of mind. Richest man who possessed nothing that truly mattered. Wealth without trust equals imprisonment. Intelligence without character creates destruction. Success without morality becomes failure measured by different metrics. This is part of story people regret skipping. If you've made it this far and haven't subscribed, ask yourself, why are you okay forgetting stories like this tomorrow, when they'll be used against people like you next year? Perfect escapes require years of meticulous preparation. Ricardo Delgado identity began construction in 2019, long before federal investigations intensified. Brazilian passport obtained through genealogy research revealing Portuguese ancestry 3 generations back. Legitimate claim to European citizenship processed through proper legal channels. Plastic surgery modifications happened gradually across 18 months. Facial structure adjustments subtle enough to avoid dramatic changes that attracted attention from associates. Nose reshaping, cheekbone enhancement, dental work altering bite patterns. Even fingerprint modifications through controlled acid treatments. Each procedure spaced months apart, explained as vanity improvements or medical necessities. Portuguese language mastery achieved through private tutoring disguised as cultural interest. Native Brazilian instructor provided authentic accent training, regional dialect coaching, cultural context education. Joaquín practiced daily until Portuguese felt more natural than Spanish, English secondary to newfound linguistic identity. Ricardo Delgado's employment history built through strategic bribery of HR personnel at legitimate technology companies. Backdated contracts, fabricated performance reviews, artificial LinkedIn connections spanning 3 years. Social media accounts established with authentic posting patterns, professional networking, industry conference attendance. Digital footprint indistinguishable from genuine tech entrepreneur. Educational credentials purchased from corrupt administrators at Portuguese universities. Computer science degree, MBA concentration in international finance, transcripts showing appropriate academic progression. Alumni database entries, graduation ceremony photographs, professional references who remembered Ricardo fondly despite never meeting him. March 15, 2023. Terminal security cameras captured well-dressed businessman approaching departure gate. Designer luggage, Portuguese passport, boarding pass for seat 4A. Confident stride, casual conversation with gate agents, natural behavior suggesting routine business travel rather than desperate escape. 6-hour head start proved decisive. Federal raid commenced at 3:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. TAP Air Portugal Flight 223 had departed at 9:25 a.m., already crossing Atlantic airspace when sledgehammers struck Premium Auto Solutions' reinforced doors. By investigation completion, Ricardo Delgado had cleared Portuguese customs, secured temporary accommodation, begun establishing European residency. Lisbon apartment overlooked Tagus River from fashionable Principe Real District. Luxury building, doorman security, international tenant population providing perfect anonymity. Monthly rent paid annually in advance through Swiss banking transfers. Neighbors saw successful Portuguese-Brazilian businessman expanding European operations. Investigation classification upgraded to national security priority within 48 hours. Cartel connections, international money laundering scope, sophisticated operational methodology demanded federal resources typically reserved for terrorism or espionage cases. Multi-agency task force formation included FBI, DEA, Treasury, State Department, Interpol coordination. Resource consumption exceeded $12 million during first year of manhunt. Agent Hawkins received unlimited budget authorization, international travel approval, intelligence community cooperation. Despite overwhelming advantages, federal investigation produced minimal actionable results. Every lead evaporated upon examination. Every sighting proved false upon verification. Operation scope analysis revealed staggering totals. 4-year partnership laundered approximately $400 million in cartel proceeds. Shell Company network processed transactions across 15 countries. Gold Standard Protocol influenced precious metals markets in 6 South American nations. Premium Auto Solutions served as hub for international financial crime exceeding most state-sponsored operations. Current intelligence suggests possible sightings across 3 continents. Portugal intelligence services reported suspicious activity around Lisbon tech startup community. Brazilian federal police investigated potential connections to São Paulo venture capital investments. Thai Financial Crimes Division examined cryptocurrency transactions linked to Bangkok real estate purchases. Technology sector infiltration appears likely. Ricardo Delgado persona perfectly positioned for legitimate business investments using stolen capital. Venture capital funding, startup acquisitions, real estate development, all providing covers for wealth integration while maintaining distance from original criminal sources. Living under assumed identity requires constant vigilance. Every social interaction carries discovery risk. Every business transaction generates potential evidence trails. Every photograph, every conversation, every digital footprint must align with fabricated backstory or risk exposure. Somewhere tonight, a man who was born Joaquín Navarro sits in expensive restaurant or luxury apartment, ordering wine in perfect Portuguese while checking news headlines about his own manhunt. Freedom purchased with $120 million but paid for with permanent exile from everything that once defined him. Federal law enforcement agencies treat Joaquín Navarro's case as cautionary masterpiece, blueprint for sophisticated financial crime that exposed systemic vulnerabilities in international cooperation protocols. Every failed investigative technique, every missed warning sign, every exploited loophole now serves as training material for future financial crime specialists. Agent Patricia Hawkins received promotion to Supervisory Special Agent, tasked with developing enhanced detection methodologies based on Premium Auto Solutions investigation. Her experience chasing financial origami through 3 countries created new protocols for multi-jurisdictional money laundering cases. Sometimes failure teaches more than success. Systemic reforms emerged from investigation aftermath. Federal agencies improved real-time communication between international law enforcement partners. Banking compliance programs enhanced monitoring for luxury goods transactions. Shell Company registration requirements tightened across multiple Caribbean jurisdictions. Gold bullion export documentation now requires enhanced verification procedures. Financial Crime Investigation Center established new training programs using Joaquín's methodology as primary case study. How legitimate businesses become criminal enterprises. How genuine relationships enable operational security. How intelligence without character creates devastating consequences for innocent people caught in expanding webs of corruption. But fundamental questions remain unanswered. Can Ricardo Delgado sustain his technological entrepreneur persona indefinitely? Portuguese authorities maintain surveillance on Lisbon's startup community without actionable intelligence. Brazilian federal police monitor São Paulo venture capital circles without concrete evidence. Digital footprints suggest activity but provide no definitive location. Federal pressure operates like slow-acting poison, continuous, patient, gradually tightening investigative networks until escape options disappear. Technology advances favor law enforcement over criminals. Facial recognition systems, financial transaction monitoring, international database integration all improve annually. Time works against fugitives who must maintain perfect performance forever. Cartel retribution follows different timeline but carries higher stakes. $10 million bounty attracts professional killers across multiple continents. Hermanos del Oro organization suffered substantial financial losses, operational disruption, credibility damage from Joaquín's betrayal. Criminal organizations prioritize revenge over profit when existential threats require elimination. What does freedom really cost? Joaquín traded everything meaningful for temporary safety. No family relationships. No genuine friendships. No hometown connections. No authentic identity. Constant vigilance against discovery. Permanent exile from personal history. Wealth without trust equals elaborate prison. Every Portuguese conversation requires perfect accent maintenance. Every business transaction must align with fabricated backstory. Every photograph, every social media post, every casual interaction carries potential exposure risk. Freedom purchased through deception becomes captivity disguised as liberation. Joaquín Navarro's story teaches us that brilliance without morality is ultimately self-destructive. He gained $120 million but lost identity, relationships, homeland, peace of mind. Richest man who possesses nothing that truly matters. Intelligence without integrity creates destruction that extends far beyond original criminal intentions. Corruption spreads like infection through social networks. Isabella, Carlos, Detective Morrison, all became unwitting accomplices through friendship and trust. Good people transformed into intelligence assets without realizing moral compromise. Criminal enterprises succeed by exploiting human decency rather than human weakness. Understanding these operations protects communities from sophisticated predators who weaponize trust, friendship, legitimate business relationships. Knowledge becomes defense against manipulation. Awareness prevents victimization. Education stops criminals from exploiting ignorance. If this taught you something, and you still scroll past without subscribing, don't pretend to care when next crime hits your town. Either learn with us, or explain in comments why you're okay staying in dark. True Crime Case Notes exposes methods criminals use against ordinary people. Subscribe. Comment. Stay informed. Stay protected. Every story contains lessons that could save someone from becoming next victim. Every case reveals patterns that help communities recognize threats before damage occurs. Every subscription supports investigation into criminal methodologies that law enforcement agencies study to protect innocent people.